What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a reef update and also taking a look at the outdoor fancy goldfish. So make sure you stay tuned to find out more. Hey Fanatics family, welcome back. As always, check out those sponsors we've got down below. Make sure to check out Star Fisheries if you're from the UK and Jimmy Goldfish USA if you're from the US. And you can actually use code JimmyGF at the checkout to get 10% off your order. So today's video, we're going to be doing a little update on the reef. We've got a few changes, few little bits and pieces there. So I'm going to head over to the tank in a minute and then we're going to head outside and I'm going to talk a little bit about the top view Ranchu and how we're going to go into overwintering them. Now it's not going to be too in depth about overwintering your fancy goldfish if you're keeping them in an outdoor pond. I'm going to give a little overview and just show a little update really. And then I'll bring out another episode where we'll go into full in-depth information about how to overwinter your pond fish, your fancy goldfish that you keep outside, and just any general fish that you're keeping in an outdoor pond over the winter months, what to do, what to look out for, etc, etc. So without further ado, I'm going to head over to the Dream Reef tank now and let's see what's changed.
A few moments later.
So here is the little update on the reef tank. As you can see, or hopefully you can see, I do have the orange lens on the camera. We now have loads of different corals in the tank. So we've got loads of different corals throughout the tank. All of them are soft corals apart from these two gold torch corals, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep those long term. We will sort of wait and see, but I'll try and show you all of the different corals we've got. You may also see when I pan round the tank that there is some sort of brown algae starting to grow on the rocks. Now we're finally getting into the dirty stage, so to say, of the tank. So basically on most marine tanks we'll go through different phases. So the rock will be all clean and white looking at the beginning, and I'd say after sort of 2 to 3 weeks we start to get this brown algae. Now this brown algae is diatom algae. You may get some cyanobacteria, which is also another type, and then finally after that the diatom algae should slowly disappear, and then potentially we will get some green hair algae growing on the rocks. Now I'm really hoping we don't get the green hair algae stage, and I'm hoping that the refugium that I have in the back corner is going to deal with the nutrient build-up well, so it's going to be hit or miss. If I do get green hair algae all over the rocks, it is going to be a major sort of not panic, but it is going to be a major thing for me to try and sort out and keep it down. And then finally, generally after maybe a couple of months, maybe a little bit longer, all of that algae should go and we should really start to get into the sort of mature stage of the reef tank. And generally I find that tanks normally take around 12 to 16 months to sort of fully mature and really allow the corals to start growing well. It does take quite a long time for a marine tank to sort of bed in, get the good bacteria established, get the balance right, and sort of let the corals start to grow onto the rocks and everything like that. Now you can easily get corals to grow absolutely fine after the first couple of months. You can see that I put these corals in this tank and it hasn't been set up that long. I believe we're now on week 4 or so, around week 4, but the corals aren't really producing too much waste. And as I mentioned in the previous video, I did add a few pieces of live rock to help seed the tank. So any ammonia and nitrite could have been dealt with by those live rock, and the bacteria will slowly spread and colonize all of this rock and also get into the filter as well. So I'm quickly going to show you all of the different corals we have. Hopefully the orange lens works. Obviously I won't actually know until I start editing it if the corals look good at all, but I'll pan around what we've got in there, and then next video hopefully we're going to be adding some fish to the tank. The first few fish are going to be going in. I've also added, as you can see, loads more corals and a few snails, and we also need to add some more snails and some cleanup crew, but I'm going to go into that further in the next video that we do that in. So I'll quickly pan around the corals now, show you a few different shots, and then we can head out and talk a little bit more about the Ranchu and how I'm preparing them to go into winter. So as I am now editing the footage here, I can see that the orange filter hasn't worked too well. So in future videos, I'm going to try and add some update pictures from my phone or my iPad, which takes far better pictures than the camera. But you can sort of get the gist of the idea with all of the movement from the corals and the different colours. We've got some lovely zoanthids and lovely zoogarden coming along here. And then we've got these nice golden torches and just a really large selection of corals already in the tank. So I'm already starting to really fill this tank up, and I cannot wait for it to be full and really show you how beautiful it looks when I can get the right camera set up for it. But overall, I'm super happy with it, and the corals are doing really well so far. So now we are outside at the top view Ranchu pond. You will first notice, well, first thing you'll notice is the camera's a little bit blurry, so I do apologise that. But the second thing you may notice is the water is crystal clear again, and finally we have got rid of the green water. Now, I'd love to tell you what method I used to remove the green water, but unfortunately it was just natural, really. I believe now the weathering is really starting to cool down and the pond is getting really cold and the fish are becoming less active. The green algae all died off, which I assume fell to the bottom and provided the fish with lots of natural algae for them to consume and graze through. So what I'm going to be doing to overwintering these fish is rationing their diet and removing a number of feeds from the diet or from their feeding schedule. So generally I'm only going to be feeding these fish twice, maybe 3 times a week at around 10 degrees. And once I start getting down to sort of 8 degrees, I'm potentially not going to feed the fish at all, if not maybe 1 feed per week if they are sort of begging for food and coming up to me. But generally the outdoor fancy goldfish and your outdoor koi, for example, will generally have more of a dormant stage over winter and potentially aim to hibernate similar to other animals in the animal kingdom. So we generally don't want to fill their diet with too much food. In an outdoor natural system like this, they will have natural algae to graze on that will keep them surviving essentially. However, their metabolism slows right down and they consume minimal, next to no calories at all, because their body has gone into a sort of dormant state and it is using far less energy consumption. They will be able to use their fat reserves, and it also provides a sort of natural cycle for the fish, going through that summer growth spurt and then older fish producing eggs or sperm and then going back into winter using that excess body fat, and it prolongs their life and definitely gives them a longer life. On our counterparts like the Chinese and Thai Ranchu or fancy goldfish, these are generally kept at a warmer temperature and a warmer level year round, and they don't get to go through that body cycle, and generally they don't last and live as long. But fish that generally go through this sort of winter, summer, autumn, spring cycle are basically extending their life, so to say, and they're getting those natural seasons involved in their lifestyle. So what I'm going to be doing in short and sweet is removing high levels of protein from the diet, as they will not be able to digest it, minimizing water changes and disturbances to the fish, allowing them to have a stress-free winter, and basically I'm going to update it further in a full video all about overwintering your outdoor fancies. Here's a quick shot of the garden just before I close up. So that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Not too much on the video today. We just had a few little updates here and there. If you want to see that in-depth video about overwintering your outdoor fancy goldfish, then let me know down below. I have had quite a lot of requests and comments asking if I'm going to be keeping my fancy goldfish outside all winter long. So I thought let's probably get that video out there, but feel free to let me know if you have any video suggestions or anything you want to cover, want me to cover on fancy goldfish, then also let me know. And as always, if you want your tank or your setup featured on the channel in the Break My Tank series or the tank tour series, then feel free to send me an email. The link is in the description, fancygoldfishfanatics@gmail.com. So, as always, thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.